a woman, je vous get.
Click.
What?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back!
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!
Hey, what's up? So, what's good? Oh, it's good. It's good. It's good. One of those nights. I know it's not in season, but for some reason, I was just thinking about the eggnog that Clark Griswold was serving in Christmas Vacation at his house. He was drinking it out of the moose cups. For some reason, I want that eggnog. I don't know. Why is it always just a Christmas thing, eggnog? But I guess leave it where it is. I get sick of it quick, to be honest. All right. Well, tonight it is it's the 22nd day of April, 2026. 7 o'clock on the nose, on the schnoz, and I've got a room full of good guests. And I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about tonight. I know a little bit about what we're going to talk about tonight, but let's get around to them. Oh, look, quad cam. Oh, wait, that's not all who's here.
Talk about a room full of schnozzes.
There you go. 4 guineas. 4 guineas. Hey, we've got. What
are the chances?
Well, Anthony's here, and so is Alberto and Vinny Brusco. And wow, guys, how's everybody feeling?
Oh man, doing well.
Wednesday night meeting of the minds.
Yes.
Love this.
Great.
Yes, good.
Great.
Always. Speaking of eggnog, my son today, oddly enough, said we were driving to school, and I usually listen to like classical music in the morning, and he's like, I don't know, I feel like it's like we're like a couple of days away from Christmas. I was like, what?
It's
He's
the
like,
weather.
I don't know.
It's the weather.
I thought so, but it's like the music didn't help. But it's
It was
pretty much
30
eggnog.
degrees last night. Obviously, it feels like it's Christmas all over again.
You
Obviously.
know what it is? Like at this time of year, I don't know if you have experienced this as well, but some days you can get a little confused and almost like, is it fall or is it spring?
Yeah,
I got
100%.
I got that yesterday with Aurora. I took her outside, and she's scooting around. I took out the skateboard. They got me for my birthday, and we were skating and scooting. And twice I got hit with the smell of burning leaves. It smell, in particular, I know burning leaves has that smell, but you guys, there's almost like I don't know what the hell it is, but there's a specific category of burn that is just like married to when you take a magnifying glass and burn the leaves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't burnt by match or anything like that. It was the magnifying glass burn. And for some reason, it brought me to fall. And because we haven't gone through the trials of a proper spring or a summer yet, it felt very uncomfortable. Like I should not be here. I'm not ready for fall yet. When I'm ready for fall, I am so ready for it. It didn't feel right.
Because you have to, right now I'm at the point where I like all the different seasons. I think a lot of people in the Northeast can relate to this, that we get in the mood for different seasons. So I like the winter. I like when it snows.
Same, yeah.
And, but the thing is that you feel like, I don't know about you, but I always feel like I'm at a point where, I'll never get sick of the winter. It's like, sometimes like, oh, it didn't snow enough. I wish we just had one storm. But then eventually you're like, you get to that point where you get teased with the 90-degree day out of nowhere, and then the 90-degree week, and you're like, all right, enough's enough. Summer right now.
Yeah.
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 I actually don't mind this now because I like skiing and the Catskills are so close by. But after when it snows is amazing. But once you get like 3 months of cold weather and no snow, that's when it's like, man, I'm over winter now.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's like one day in the first week, maybe the last week of February, that I say, okay, listen, if you haven't snowed by now, you lost your chance. It's over.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yes.
I know.
Yes. You missed your chance.
Yeah.
It's funny. I had the same thing yesterday. I was outside shooting hoops with my son, probably around like, post dinner, 6:30ish. And it was just crispy. Like the air was crisp and it had that, although everything is in blossom and blooming and it has a very spring aesthetic, it was very cold and had that same exact feeling of like, oh, it feels like fall. And it's weird how your mind, like, although it's May or April, right? It's almost May. It's like, it feels like it's just weird how your brain makes those like leaps and disconnects, whether it be through a scent or like a crisp in the air, how it's just like, it makes this mental leap. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he had this feeling that's like Christmas is around the corner and it's April, right? Like, it's just weird how like energetically it just changes.
And that's specifically weird, particularly weird because April is just only like 3 months after December, 3 or 4 months.
Right.
And the other day, every once in a while I'll do this. I'll go and I'll go into like a Christmas music playlist on YouTube to see what weirdos are commenting now. Like I'll see
That's
people
hilarious.
like commenting, and there are people who are like, "Oh man, I can't wait."
That's hilarious.
Go to any Christmas music playlist on YouTube where they leave comments and check the recent comments.
Is there like a U-Log one? Like people are commenting on the U-Log page? I love
you're
that.
going to find people who are like, oh, I can't wait. I can't come fast enough. Like, it's like, what are you talking about?
I got it. Hold on.
So they're still listening to Christmas music now in April, huh?
Yeah.
This is
People still listen to Christmas
I
music.
mean, I still have neighbors that have Christmas decorations outside in their yards. So I guess those are the...
That's just laziness, though.
Yeah. No.
Or do they keep it up all year round?
I don't know. I think they just love decorations so much. They just can't wait for like Halloween to come around to like switch it to some other theme. But if there's no like big holiday
4th
in
of July
between, they
lights?
just 4th of July. The house is all like lighted up. But
we got the Christmas tree up over here, but that's only that's laziness.
It's not only laziness. We can't in this building. We can't put anything. The crawl space on top of Anthony's production facility is where we would put all of our seasonal stuff.
Right.
And now the building because of liability, we're not allowed to put anything up there or take it down by ourselves. We have to call somebody from the building to come down.
Exactly.
So you have a yearly Christmas tree now.
With a ladder.
Yeah.
And we're just, I guess lately it's just been a little bit of a buzz. Like, fine, fuck it. The tree stays up for a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
that's all right.
But I just went to a Christmas songs playlist. This is the playlist. Hold on, let me put it up on the screen so everybody sees it. Merry Christmas, top Christmas songs of all time. All I Want for Christmas and Feliz Navidad and all that. Here it is. 8 days ago. Who's here on April begging to get the Christmas items out?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what oh my God.
Here you go. Who's here on Easter? No, nobody.
Anthony's or any of those your secret accounts? Come on, you can't admit it. Come on.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
That makes sense. Listen, there is an energy to Christmas that's beautiful that you do kind of wish it all year round, right? But then obviously if you had it all year round, you'd be like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, well, it would also that's another reason why I can't think about being in any kind of a climate that is. I mean, I need it to be. Growing up around here, at least this area,
Right.
I mean, you just go across latitude, longitude, wherever the hell it is, as long as it's cold at Christmas time, that just feels natural to me. But I know people grew up on islands and all that stuff, and it's still as nostalgic to them as it is for us. But I can't relate to it because, the old Corona commercial when they have the Christmas tree lights on the palm tree. That was normal for somebody growing up. For me, that is just alien.
Yeah.
You know, and I probably could not get into the mood. Not nearly as much, at least.
Yeah, not even close.
Anyway.
I like the cold.
Hey, you know what, guys? Before we go anywhere, remember this. You remember I told you about my friend Josh? He does some video editing for the show. He's been watching for a long time and helping for a long time. His daughter, Penny, she is in the running for this Ranger Rick magazine thing, and she can, it's like a prize, and she can be in Ranger Rick magazine. We took her from 15 to 7. Okay,
let's go.
Took her from 15 to 7, but we have a day left, and I'm putting the link in the chat room, and we let's go. Please, if not for me, do it for her. Okay, here's the link. I put it in the chat rooms. Please go and do what you got to do, because I'll tell you something. Our good buddy Fleckus, who I hope that we have a reunion with one day. I don't know why we're so distant these days. He's the one that is getting behind the number 1 kid in the contest right now. He is pushing the number 1 kid on the contest. Now, I wish nothing but the best for Penny and having a long, successful, amazing life. But we have to beat Fleckus. He hasn't answered any of my text messages in months. Okay? This is all about Penny, by the way. It's all about her.
Which means he doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Wait, listen,
I don't like you either.
I've got the death sentence on 7 systems. Oh, we got to talk about that later.
Yes, we do.
An incredible moment.
I'm very excited about you. You sent in the group text, which is my favorite group text, which I don't participate as much as I'd like to, but it's one of my favorite group texts that I have. And you did mention that, and I'm very excited to hear all about it.
Yes. It was a Star Wars moment with Aurora. We watched the original trilogy together. And I was worried that it was too soon because, she's 5.5, and I really wanted all the big reveals and stuff like that to hit her. And something incredible happened, and I just wanted to. I'm sure anybody with a child, anybody who's raising a child, you have these moments all the time. This is just my moment. I wanted to share with you.
I'm excited to hear about it.
But hey, I got to bring this up. Have you guys looked into the Southern Poverty Law Center thing that's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
dude, listen. And again, when we look at the amounts of money, I hope that this is just one of many things that happens over the next couple of years here, because the tens of billions of dollars that was just skimmed off the top scum in places like Minnesota and California. I hope this is not a consolation prize and we don't get around to that. But this is something very big, because when you really think about, even though there's a little bit of money that is talking about here, it's wire fraud. So you have the Southern Poverty Law Center, for those of you who don't know. They have been they were charged. There is a grand jury indictment that was produced in Montgomery, Alabama. 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of false statements to a federally insured bank, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit concealment money laundering. And this is between 2014 2013. The SPLC allegedly secretly funneled over $3 million and donated funds to individuals affiliated with violent extremist groups, including the Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nations, National Socialist Party of America, and others. The pivot that some people in the media, especially like USA Today, who just incredibly took this position. The Southern Poverty Law Center was indicted for paying sources to infiltrate hate groups. Incredible. Mm-hmm. Incredible. It's an infiltration, but they're lying to banks to be able to infiltrate the 3 people who are in the KKK these days. It's just it's something that I think can't be overlooked, because it's much bigger than the pitiful dollar amount of $3 million when you consider the whatever, because this all goes into, and I know, Albert, you especially, into the psychological warfare element. This plays right into giving the media fodder into what they're going to build up, whether it's January 6th, turning that into Bay of Pigs. Charlottesville, everybody since 2017, 2018 has campaigned on Charlottesville.
Yeah. They're trying to divert the attention by mentioning that the FBI uses a similar tactic when they pay informants. but the FBI is a federal police agency, right? It's a federal. So how can we put the two, this non-for-profit and the FBI on the same level? The FBI pays informants to try to bring people to justice. So instead, it seems
sometimes at least,
allegedly, but instead, this non-for-profit seems that they were actually using them for some illegal activity, also to kind of it seems like a strategy, like you have a company that repairs windows and then you pay people to go break windows in the neighborhood so that you can create, you can create clients,
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I saw this one meme going around on Tumblr, and I had to grab it and throw it up on the Instagram. It is, I love that "Hear Me Out" Mad Men meme. So you have John Hamm up there. Hear me out. He's giving a presentation to the board.
Yeah.
We pay people to be racist so we can fight racism. And that's exactly. We had a friend of the show over here, Rudy Pazoo, said, Frank, you said it once. The demand for racism outweighs the supply, and it does. I mean, that's what everything we see is really making an investment in creating some sort of resentment in our society. And that's it, man. They've made it. It's either they actually get what they want legislatively, and if they do, it's still going to cause resentment because it's all rooted in racism and whatever. But they have the bully pulpit. They can project what they're doing onto other people. They do it constantly.
It seems like there's two levels, right? So the first level is just like a money grift. They're using this kind of strategies to try to just make more money, right? We've seen it in a lot of other cases too of non-for-profits that are kind of scamming the system. So first and foremost, it seems like it's just they're using these tactics just to bring millions of dollars to their own pockets. But then on the second level, there's really something about just societal manipulation, which is even more kind of sinister.
Oh yeah. I mean, the psychological aspect of it alone is nothing.
Look, obviously, racism is something that we deal in the U.S. and many countries in the world deal with it. But is it really so prominent as the media sometimes portrays it?
It is. I will say it is only as prominent as it is because of the way that it is portrayed and injected into media and into any kind of cultural program, the education. I mean, the SPLC over here is really that's a fraction of the overall shadow government structure that what we're talking about, at least a certain point of view.
I always hated how in the media they will use these big titles, kind of the U.S. is a racist nation, or this kind of stuff, just generalizing the whole issue, right? Obviously, when you have over 300 million people in the U.S., there are going to be some people that commit some racist crimes, but you can't identify the whole nation just by the few numbers, over 300 million people that commit this kind of crime. So on the same token, we could say that the US is a murderous nation because some people commit murder. But it's not done from an institutional point of view, I think most likely it's just the individuals that commit this crime. And I never understood how the media will pick up and generalize so much this issue. But then again, once we see this this breaking news, you can kind of understand that there's actually a lot of money behind it that people make by pushing this kind of agenda.
Well, you also see in different facets, right? It's not just racism. It's whatever other, pivot point they want to use and pivot against people, whether it be gender or whatever it is. It's always some type of polarizing view and opinion. And then when you start to, kind of pick back the scab, you see how much money's backing, how much money's being injected into this rage and this anger, which is really not fueled by anything but being facilitated and fueled by a system of creating rage and anger, right?
Yes.
So it's not really the actual people, because I think if you put 9 or put 10 people in a room, 9.5 of them are all going to agree on most things. It's that small group of people, and then they pick at those scabs and those wounds of people, and then it gets exacerbated by a culture, and then people start to latch onto that, and you have bad actors in there that come into play and play these roles to further fuel that, and now things like this come out, and you see the amount of money that's going into it, And to your point, on the surface level, it's just a money grab. Okay, great. But then there is something underneath that that's way more nefarious. And Frank, when I had you on my show a while ago, I said, do you really think there's something so like deep and dark? And you're like, yes, I do. And now, all these things are starting to come to fruition and start to bubble to the top. And it's like, oh, okay. It is way darker and deeper than even just the money part.
I think so too. And honestly, like we talked about it in the past too. Like when I'm close to 50 years old. When I was younger, I thought that all this stuff was happening a little bit by chance. Like I thought, it's just like, they're not really related. You see one instance, a second instance. But as you get older, you start seeing that it's happening so often. And it seems like there's a pattern to it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to believe that it's not by chance, but more by choice.
Let me ask you in particular, as an Italian from Italy, I mean, Europe is so much worse off. What's happening over here in the United States is happening in such an accelerated way in Europe, especially since there's a Muslim element to it. So there's even more of a culture clash, as opposed to how we have a horrible migration crisis over here, which has all been completely steered and manufactured for very specific demolitionist reasons. But over there in Europe, there's a much bigger clash of civilizations that's happening in a more pronounced way. And when Meloni,
Giorgia Meloni, yes.
when she came into power over there, that was one of the things that she was really running on. And then everything kind of like all of the buzz around her kind of died down. And I always wondered, what's going on? Because what I see coming out of Italy, people who still over there and are talking about the state of migration and what's happened to small towns and cities. Is anything getting corrected?
Very little. I think, unfortunately, she doesn't have a lot of power. Compared to the role of the U.S. president that can sign proper executive orders, the prime minister in Italy doesn't have the same power. So she can campaign on it and try to push a certain kind of reform, but she really needs the support of Parliament. And now that we're part of the European Union has to be aligned. And there's been a slight change in the past 6 months, but it's not really sticking because there's been such a propaganda for the past 30, 40 years that the population itself is refusing to realize the danger that they're facing. When I talk to my friends, they're like, oh, no, it's not really going on. And then I show them some articles about, this mass migration, illegal migration. And they're like, oh, really? Is this really happening? I'm like, don't you read the news? They're like,
you're there. We're over here.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Sorry, but here's the thing, and I find, and not being over there, you do see these videos, whether it be in Ireland or Portugal or Spain, Italy, right?
Yeah.
Spain, right? You see, or wherever it is, you see this mass migration that seems to be taking over in some way, shape, or form. But then when there's boots on the, so I wonder how much of that is my algorithm feeding that, and just a small lens of something, or is it?
It's really, really happening. Okay, and the problem is that a lot of Europe is a lot of small towns, and a lot of times these small towns is like the hobbits in the Shire. They're like just removed from what really is going on in the world. They don't really see it. But once you start going to Milan, you start going to Rome. There were some times in the past few years that I've gone to Rome and I have not interacted with anybody that was Italian. No, not one. Like every store that you walk in is somebody else from some very Eastern Bloc country, Africa, people from Bangladesh. And it's like, again, I'm pro-immigration. I'm an immigrant myself, but there has to be some kind of control to it, right? It can't just be so, because you lose the culture. I went back, I go to Rome because I love Rome. I love, what Rome stands for as the capital of Italy, promoting a certain kind of culture. My grandparents, people fought for this kind of a certain kind of ideals, and then you see the society is completely changed with people that don't really know what the culture of the country is, and they're not even trying to let these people kind of okay, you have to study Italian culture and you have to kind of learn the language and you have to kind of integrate in this society, So at a certain point, it's just a matter of numbers. You get past 15, 20, 30% of the population, and then you don't have your own culture anymore. It's lost.
Is
And
there
I think it's a culture that's worth defending.
Yeah.
You know,
every culture is worth defending, right? Every
Not
culture's
according
worth,
to the SPLC.
right, but I'm saying is in the sense that there is some history and there is some substance to these cultures on a global level that provide insight and perspective to our own cultures and to the future cultures, and that's all worth preserving. My question for you is in Italy, I don't know, do they have a process in becoming I'm sure they do, but is it similar to the American process of becoming a citizen where like you have to go through the testing and all that stuff, or is it a little bit
yeah,
more?
it's somewhat similar.
like
yes.
knowing, okay.
But for example, Italy made it a little bit harder now. They just passed a law where like you can't really get citizenship as easy as it was before. But Spain, on the other token, made it very easy. And around Christmas time, they just basically opened the floodgates. They're like, if you are already in Spain before December 31st and you're illegal, you can ask for like a resident permit, no questions asked.
You see,
So this opened up like a lot of people like, oh yeah, I was here.
Who's to say?
Yeah, I mean, they say about 500,000 people applied and more came, you know, and you don't even know if like all these applications are correct. You know, people say that they were there before December and maybe they weren't. But these countries are small countries. They're not like the US that's 300 plus million people. I think Spain is around, what is it, Spain? 30, 35 million people. So once you start bringing in 500,000 and then a million, 2 million and so on, and there's already been, 20 years of this kind of migration, it changes very fast.
very fast, man.
And I've been, I don't know if you guys want to go more deep in depth, I've been trying for years to figure out why they're doing it, because they're somewhat committing self-suicide,
It's genocide. And
Yes.
and it goes across all. I mean, Europe traditionally, for all the people out there who go loving touting diversity and the need for diversity, they took an ancient civilization in Europe that was truly diverse, where every country was an ancient ethno-state that had very distinct culture and language and currency and everything. And they took this beautiful, vibrant fruit basket and blended it into a shitty smoothie. But with the EU and everything else like that, I mean, it's a very distinct thing that's happening all across the Western world. They want something that was long lasting, that was time tested, based in certain democratic principles and all that other stuff, and higher religious loyalties and everything else like that. And they want to dilute it. It's
What's the end game?
This is what I was trying to get to.
Do you know what the end game is?
I have some theories about it, and if you guys want.
Okay.
I want to hear it. Yeah,
I
go.
think first and foremost is that Europe was not able in the past 40 years to really deliver. The politicians were not able to deliver on the promises that they made. Like the real golden era of Europe was after World War II. So like in the 50s and the 60s, that's when the European economy kind of like grew. Part of it, we talked about it with Vinny last week. Part of it was due to the Marshall Plan that injected millions and upon millions of dollars. So a lot of people like my grandparents, they grew up with no shoes, not even a car. All of a sudden, they found themselves a little bit more wealthy, where they could finally buy a nice pair of shoes, finally buy a Vespa, then a car, and they saw this amazing improvement in quality of life. And my father, that grew up after World War II, kind of experienced that too in his first 30 years of life. But then the economy plateaued. They were not able. They made bad decision upon bad decision. The industrial sector collapsed, and they were not able to deliver. On the same token, the national debt started spiking. So how do you solve this problem? Let's import more workforce. Let's import more consumers. You import people
because they're also
they become taxpayers.
But
it's
not only that, but there's another reason that precipitated that is that all across the Western world, everybody stopped having children. The European reproduction rates across all those countries are so far worse than even the U.S. I think Greece not too long ago was like 1.3 children per woman.
Italy is at zero. Italy is at zero. Yeah, unless you count the immigrants. Yes, but if you tax people so much in Italy, they're taxed over 50% sometimes, right? it disincentivizes people from having kids. And everybody understands that, right? When the taxes are low, people have a little bit more spending money. They don't feel that fiscal pressure. They feel, I can have a kid. I can have a second kid, right? But if you start taxing people so high, the statistics are there. Everybody knows it, but they don't want to change it. So then it goes into what's the end game, and it seems that's by design. And ultimately, my take on it is somehow that when we see also the pattern of wars globally and this kind of stuff, and I worked, like international business and this kind of stuff, it seems almost that the Pax Americana, so this kind of like role that the U.S. had and acquired, that took the baton from England to be kind of like the global leader in the world and, control the world and police the world, is deteriorating very fast. And it seems that the elites are understanding that we're going to go towards a few decades of really scarce resources and a head-to-head conflict with China. So I think part of the reason why we had unchecked migration was to kind of like allow a lot of poor people in that could be then recruited into the military.
There's I have some overlapping theories about that stuff there too, but mostly it's population replacement and cultural replacement.
I see that too.
Anybody that says even when it comes down to, okay, well, you know what, we see a dip in population, maybe we should just bump up immigration just a little bit. And maybe you bring in you bring in a small amount of younger professionals, people who are married, looking to make a family,
right,
coming with business prospects. They're gainfully employed already. They can speak English, something like that. Instead, we're taking anybody who's there, and then we start these policies up and these court precedents for things like chain migration, where one young person comes to the United States and then sends back home for like 18,000 elderly people from wherever the hell they came from. Then suddenly we have all their elderly independent people as well as their young dependents. And it's all demolition based. And listen, just getting back to where this all started, organizations like Southern Poverty Law Center, the ADL, the NAACP, which are essentially born from the same mother, the ACLU, they have been dismantling traditional American culture and sowing discord between people on identity basis for generations. And when it comes to like just coming face to face, the thing that really gets me about this is I think it's great to see the SPLC finally having their feet held to the fire and be brought up on charges of wire fraud and paying the last two KKK members in the United States money to make them seem like more of a threat than they actually are and all that shit. But the real thing is that what curbs my enthusiasm is that our friends and family and neighbors, so many of them are clinically disabled at this point. Like you're talking about your friends in Italy who are like, no, I don't think this stuff is happening. I don't think the migration crisis is really doing anything to our nation on any kind of significant trajectory into the future or anything like completely ridiculous. That's a ridiculous place to be. But over here in the U.S., our friends and family and neighbors, the average are clinically disabled. They can't. If they could process the information that would challenge whatever the hell they're thinking about, pie in the sky, ideas about immigration or one thing or another. If they could process it, they would refuse to. And even then, even if they would choose to process it, they would find a way to excuse it at the end of it. So it's really a rock and a hard place. I hope that whatever good elements the DOJ is left just runs people over with a killdozer over here. But
unfortunately, I think even this story from today is just the tip of the iceberg. I think the corruption goes much deeper.
Well, I was going to say it just kind of piggyback of what you were saying. I think there becomes a disenfranchisedness to even having children, to getting the job, right? That's why you see so many younger people having less children, going out into the workforce, graduating college, especially in like the area of men, because there is this disenfranchised component to it that says like the game's not even worth playing anymore.
Yes.
And, I think to your point, Frank, the older generation, like look at my parents or whatever, our parents or whatever it is, there was an ROI on their efforts and they were kind of willing to look and turn a blind eye to or maybe not even be privy to some of the things that were happening, right? So it was like, all right, maybe these things are going on, but I have a house, I have the kids, I'm doing this thing. Like life is having a return on my investment in time, effort, and energy. Where we are, and younger generations are now saying like, okay, so there seems to be this nefarious or overarching energy that's suppressing us from being able to break outside of the system. We're a part of the system, and I can't even operate or get anything out of the system anymore. Right? I can't even have a job that pays me enough to live a normal American dream lifestyle. So the system is rigged, the game is rigged. So now it's kind of like, well, fuck this. I'm just going to flip the board. I'm not even playing anymore.
It's true. That's happening. Oh no, yeah, absolutely. That is definitely happening. There are other things that are dissuading people. Other things that are dissuading people from having children, political things, ideological cancers and stuff like that. But no doubt about it. People are breaking their backs and finding that they're getting less out of it, and it's devastating spiritually.
Oh yeah,
it's spiritually devastating. I mean, we put everything that we have into this. Everybody's doing what they can wherever they are in life. People are,
and that's why it's so that's why it's so important to surround yourself by people like in this room, right? Because you have this relationship with the world, and then you have this relationship within like the zeitgeist of who you surround yourself by. And when you're around people that are doers and creators and who are on a path of doing something that's outside of the norm and outside of like the cultural expectation, then you're able to like keep yourself grounded, but also kind of still have those dreams and those hopes and those visions of yourself, right? And that's why it's important to surround yourself by like-minded individuals who are aspirational, because although they're working outside of the system, they're building their own system within it.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. But also to add to what you're saying, that there's one part of this too, on top of all of this, that we all use platforms on a daily basis, like social media, that are designed to keep us isolated.
Oh, yeah.
They're designed for that. So if we don't make the extra effort to connect the way that we're doing right now, I know that we're putting this out for people to watch on social media, ironically, but we're in this room together, and you have your group that you meet with.
Yeah.
And I know you're always connecting with people through jiu-jitsu. You both are. But like this is all, that's very important stuff, because on a daily basis, most of our life, regular life, is spent in isolation these days.
It is.
And not productive isolation, not like meditation and self-reflection.
No,
like,
bad isolation.
Yeah, bad, like zombie-like zoning out isolation. Like, how often do you catch yourself just on your phone, like, what the fuck am I doing right now?
Right.
Like,
it's
more times than I like.
It's a unique kind of isolation there too, because it even extends into times when you're in a room with people. Like now more than ever, you can be in a room with 4, 5, 6 of your friends and family for just a Sunday dinner or a holiday or something like that, and it'll still feel like you actually are alone because everybody's engrossed in something that they're doing.
It's crazy.
And perhaps that only happens a couple of times over the course of an hour. You realize everybody slipped and everybody went to check what the notifications were, and then they come back, they call themselves back, and you get on with it. But every once in a while you look around, you say, this is very unique to our lifetime,
our evolution nonetheless,
very unique to
and
our
you said
lifetime.
the word, you slip into it.
Wait,
it's this subtle blanket that comes up to your eyeballs, and all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, I'm in this new world all of a sudden. It's very subtle.
Think of it this way.
Please go ahead. No,
you go ahead.
Please.
You're the guest.
Please.
You're the guest.
Please.
you got the better hair if you want to go. But no, jokes
I
aside.
don't know. That's a good hair competition between the two.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, but look, I think unfortunately now we talk about social media and all these cell phones and remote working, but I think honestly this issue has been going on for close to 100 years. When we had more of a agricultural kind of society, people had a closer network. Network. Families were united, worked together on the fields. They didn't move as much. Then we moved to like an industrial kind of age, and people left the fields to look to fill jobs in the city. So already there, like that kind of like tribe, that family unity that was typical of the early 1900s in the U.S. start getting lost as the kids will now work in factories in Detroit, away from North Carolina where they grew up. And then when we moved to post-industrial, to like a service kind of industry, it happened even earlier maybe, because now at 17 you apply for college. You know, you might be, like I said, born in North Carolina, South Carolina, but your college is somewhere in Arizona. So, and then you graduate, you have roots in Arizona for 4 or 5 years as you go to college and get a master's, but then your job is in Oregon, and now you move to Oregon. So this, I think, is also why people feel so lonely, because they're so far from where they were born, from where their family really is, their cousins are, and so on. So, like, you know, this brought a lot of like economic wealth to the U.S., but disintegrated that family network that I guess our great grandparents used to have in the early 1900s.
Yeah. Well, there's also one other thing that was really, those connections were there. A different type of work ethic out of just basic necessity. Like you could not rely on. Like I'm thinking about that one scene in did you see 1923?
No.
The Yellowstone series.
I watched like the first episode.
There's one.
It got abusive, and I was like, "This is too much energy."
You know, I was thinking about that there too. Just conveniences. There's this one scene when they're they're in Montana, and it's 1923, obviously, and there's a washing machine salesman on the street that's trying to show everybody this newfangled invention from New York. Everybody has refrigerators and washing machines in New York City, and they're asking about, well, what do we do? Well, it's a convenience. Think about all the extra time you'll have when you can just put your clothes in here and you don't have to bring them down to the riverbed or anything like that. So I have to get that clip from later on because it's very profound there about just freedom through responsibility. Not freedom from responsibility, but freedom through, and independence through responsibility. So there was that. There's just necessity to do what you got to do because we had a lot less conveniences around at that time. But the other thing there too is so much of what we were doing, how we were working, what we were eating, so much of our supplies and resources were localized. It's whether it's in Europe, whether it's in New York, whether it's in Ohio or Colorado, we go back 100 years. Almost everything that you were eating and drinking, they were coming from local sources. They were not being shipped in daily from thousands of miles away or something like that. So if a supply line broke down somehow, if the Strait of Hormuz was blockaded, it didn't really. You can pick up. It wasn't going to make the entire world come to a screeching halt,
or at least your entire world, right?
At least your entire world. Right. So that's the other big thing that people were working with back then. Aside from the connectedness we had, the different kind of mindset, we had a lot more responsibility that we took on as duty, and we also had a lot more localized resources. So we weren't so reliant on things coming in from on high.
Anthony, you had a point that you wanted to bring up. I have something I want to say after Alberto Brothers' point, but go ahead.
Well, I guess the point that I was going to bring up is related to this, and it's kind of going back to when we were talking about being in isolation with social media, because a lot of the time, like you're that whole slipping, like you said, you're slipping into it, and then you don't realize it's like a time suck. You don't realize how much.
Yeah.
Then you come to, and it's almost like you went to sleep, and you drifted off for like you were
nodded off on the couch.
So it's amazing to me, and a lot of people don't see it this way because they have so much to occupy themselves with in their overstimulation and scrolling through a bunch of stuff, videos, and then they'll send some text messages, and then they'll send some voice notes about what they just saw, and then before you know it, there's like a couple of hours is wasted, and it's wasted like nothing. But when you take the phone away, it's like some of these illustrations. But wasn't there, Frank? I remember you shared a while back these illustrations by some artists that were showing. What was it? It was an article where they showed like people in different situations without their phone, but while they were looking at their phone, so their phone actually wasn't in their hand. So you have just like two people, like for instance, a couple in their bed, like a married couple in the bed with their phones in their hands, but they took the phones out of their hands, and it's just two people just staring.
Yeah, it
into
looks
their fucking
looks
hands.
ridiculous, right? Yeah,
You know?
I've seen.
That's
I
like
didn't see that.
think about what we're willingly allowing ourselves to do during the day. We're willingly allowing ourselves to just go like this, like we're in some kind of mental institution.
Right.
Well,
I
it's-
catch myself like standing in the middle of the room sometimes on my phone, like halfway. I have to go get something from the fridge, and all of a sudden I'm like wait, I'm in the kitchen. What?
And how many times
So
you go to do
ridiculous.
something on your phone, then you slip into that flow of social media, and all of a sudden, like, what was I going to do?
Exactly.
You're
Like
wait,
you
wait,
went
I
to
was
go.
going
You
to
were
do something.
specifically.
I went to go answer a text message, and all of a sudden, I'm watching.
I was going to go
whatever.
check one inbox,
Yes.
and I got stuck in a doom scroll. Like how?
I wanted to piggyback off of something you said. I forgot where I read it, but it was talking about the change of culture of when men started going out into the workforce and leaving the home, and that shift of culture where before
Men or women?
men.
Okay.
In the sense that they were working on farms, they were working very close to home or on the grounds
Yeah,
of their
close-knit,
house,
right? Yeah.
right? And their children were within arm's reach of them.
Always, yes.
Right? Especially the boys. The boys were always, they can go with their dad to work. They knew what their dad was doing. But once the men started going into the cities and started going to a more industrial type of setting, that disconnect from knowing where my dad is all day long created a gap in our minds of saying, I don't know where my dad is. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know where he is. Like, so this kind of low frequency anxiety starts to build among boys in needing this elder, right? Because you think of like from a tribal resource, you have these elders, you're surrounded. Then all of a sudden the mom goes out to the workforce. Now the kids get dropped off at school. So now there's this real disconnect from the family unit, right? And now it becomes mom's at work, dad's at school, and dad's at work, mom's at work, and I'm at school by myself. It's just this constant dissolving of the nuclear family, and we see it in all these different facets. And now, obviously, you could talk about institutions that support that and want to, propel that and push that forward. But I forgot where I read it, but it was this whole idea of like boys not having their fathers and not knowing where their fathers go. Not saying their fathers doing anything horrible, but it's just knowing that dad's outside working the field versus dad's in some ambiguous city doing something.
Right, but by doing. You disintegrate the culture of a nation that way, right? For example,
Sure.
like when families lived, again, more agricultural kind of societies, and everybody was in the same house, the grandparents,
Yeah.
the uncles, you'll hear stories from 50, 60 years ago from your grandfather. I grew up in Italy. In our house, it was my parents, my grandparents. So I know a lot of stories from World War II just because my grandfather was alive and was next to me. So maybe that sparked an interest in history, but also a knowledge of what Italy was like back in the day, a sense of what the culture was.
the kingdom
I guess
days.
so, yes.
we were at,
But
once,
once we don't have that anymore, now everybody consumes the most recent culture. So whatever advertisement is pushed, whatever music is pushed right now on YouTube, on Spotify. But if you live with an older generation, maybe you start appreciating music, Pink Floyd, I don't know, or you start appreciating Louis Armstrong, from back the 50s.
yeah.
But as this gets eroded, this gets lost. So now you're just spoon-fed whatever people are trying to sell you in the moment.
Well, Alberto, that's exactly what Anthony and I were
Yes.
talking about on the Playhouse last week or the week before, when I had asked him about his time that he just spent in Universal Studios, like the Universal Studios proper, not Islands of Adventure, like where they had it used to just be all old school television and Hollywood. Jaws, King Kong, Lucille Ball, Lucille Ball.
You'll get it.
Anyway,
We know who you're talking about.
yeah. So you had all these, and he was saying that it was kind of like that part of the park was just dying, and I kind of knew that would be the case because we don't have a lot of intergenerational things that we share anymore. When we were all growing up, I brought this up on the show a week or two ago when we were talking about it. When we were all growing up, we were getting references through Looney Tunes to the golden ages and silver screen, golden ages of Hollywood, even silent era Hollywood too. We got everything. From the Cagney films to the Godfather, and we got everything in between.
Pigeons and Animaniacs.
Whatever it was, it's just we were getting things that had references that were that our grandparents would have understood. It wasn't just children and their parents, but we were watching things that even our grandparents would pick up on the references and tell us what references we were missing.
Yeah,
there's very few, a lot less opportunity for generations to bond anymore, and you just see that everywhere.
When I was growing up, for example, my father always had all these Santana LPs, from the 70s, and I thought they were so cool. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, but I loved that LP. I wanted to play it. Oh, that's so cool music, and I started, appreciating music that wasn't from my era. But then I see with my daughter now, and obviously I can't. Unfortunately, that my daughter doesn't live with me full time. Comes from a broken house, so it's funny how a lot of times I played her like music that I love from the '80s, and she's like, she's 11 years old right now. But even a few years back, he's like, I don't like it. And then she finally watched Stranger Things, and they're playing Master of Puppets and all the. This great 80s hits, and now all of a sudden it's cool. She likes it because, but when her father said it, it wasn't cool.
That's why it's so important. Visuals have always been very important to introduce new generations to new music, especially culturally. I mean, because I didn't even know I was introduced to Queen in the mid '90s because of D2 Mighty Ducks.
Yep.
Oh wow!
Like D2 Mighty Ducks, when they had Queen playing throughout the movie, but at the end when they won, Team America won, and they're around the fire pit and they're singing "We Are the Champions." And I remember at that time, because I was 7 years old. I didn't know Queen, but that was like an introduction to classic music. I mean, that's how it's such a powerful thing. So that's the one thing with Stranger Things. How crazy is that you have Master of Puppets, you've got what's her name? What's that song that kept resurfacing through?
Running up the hill.
Kate Bush.
Kate Bush.
Could you imagine? This is a song that was released in the early 80s and it becomes the song of the summer in the summer of 2022.
It's amazing.
Like that's just the power of Well,
to your point earlier, I was at my parents' house for dinner with my wife and my kids, and my dad's sharing like old Navy stories, right? And he's talking about life on a submarine and life on nuke subs in Vietnam.
Oh, I thought you meant Old Navy.
No, not Old Navy. Just sure. Son, let me tell you, they used to have a dog in their advertisements.
I used to fold all the shirts. It was horrible.
They're an offset of the Gap.
Let me tell you some Old Navy stories.
Sit down. You're not going to believe this shit.
Old Navy performance fleeces were a big thing. They were a big thing, those performance fleeces. No, but you're sharing Old Navy stories, not the store. And again, to your point, it brought in this curiosity, right? And now we're watching these videos on subs and then it led us, my son's a Cub Scout, and we slept on the Intrepid. My dad came with us.
Wow.
We got to go on a sub, and we're walking through the sub, and he's pointing out all the rooms. And he's like, oh yeah, I have a picture of me and my buddy where they would load the missiles. And my dad's in the missile container, right? And all these, and he knows every room. And he's like, oh, this is that room, this is that room. It's not his sub. It's obviously a totally different sub. But he knows all of it, and he's, oh, this is what I did, and that's the navigation room, and that's what I did. And it's creating this information, this awareness, this curiosity in my son saying, oh, that's cool, like Papa did that. But you remove that, whether it be systematically or you remove that culturally or you remove that just by happenstance, and you start to dissolve a culture. And whether it be through music, food, historical lineage, that all starts to dissolve.
And this is where these non-for-profits, they have a nefarious agenda, step in and substitute the parents and the grandparents in manipulating, right?
Oh,
a
yes.
child's mind, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Dude, we were screwed. I see it right now, and I know not everybody took the programming, but you can just see the way how vicious the media is, the people that they put in the media, especially when it comes to race and gender, and how hateful they are. Hateful. There's just so much hate. These are the people projecting racism and different types of hate onto other people. There's a lot of people right now who are being violently awakened from this 1990s style dream where we were sold that we had been born into a post-racial society and kumbaya, this and that. We were just really having our guards let down, while other people were given absolute carte blanche to be as hateful as they wanted to. And it's a little startling right now. That's why a lot of people are struggling to actually put two and two together and realize that it's almost as bad, if not worse. Because you think about how many generations it took to do this, of really coming to the grips that is a government really capable of killing its own citizens? Is it really capable of experimenting on unwitting members of a society in public? Whether it just be a gas that they're dispersing over San Francisco, or Tuskegee experiments, or anything else like that. A new tick, a new shot, whatever the hell it is. And yes, they are. So if they would screw with our bodies, why wouldn't they screw with our minds over the course of years? And we can tell we're not in a better spot. Let me throw something at you guys, because Anthony, you said you're leaving after the first hour.
Yeah, I'll leave in a bit.
Well, take a listen to this. I want to just throw this out there while Anthony's still here, because since we're talking about generations, Ben Eisenhart, he put this out about a week ago, and it was about life in your early 40s. And I thought that it would be fun to throw it to this group.
Here we go.
He said this. He said, being in your early 40s is weird, man. People around your age are living every stage of life. You have people who are grandparents. You have people who have newborns. You have people who are dating 25-year-olds. You have people who are celebrating their 20th wedding anniversary. Some of them look 60. Some of them look 30. All the bases are covered when you're in your early 40s.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very. I said, wow, you're right.
Nailed it.
I don't know which of my friends are closest to being a grandparent right now, but I'm sure it'll come to me. That's insane, but it's true. It's a very strange window of time.
Very weird. I remember someone asked me when I'm 42, so it was when I turned 40. They asked me what it was like in my 30s. And I explained to them that being in my 30s felt like I was walking through the woods at night, and I had a flashlight, but it flickered a lot. Like the battery was dying, and I'd have to hit it just to know where I was going. And entering my 40s, I felt like I have a clearer path. And then I talked to guys who are in their 50s, and they're like, oh, no, I was just getting it together. My 40s is nothing. Wait till you get your 50s. That's when it really... I'm like... What the fuck? That's like when you really understand life. I'm like, I thought I had a pretty good grip on life. Shit. You don't know anything. And it's interesting because it is, and obviously, the quintessential midlife crisis, right? Like that's the whole thing. But it is this weird Bermuda Triangle of life where, like, again, you have so many people and so many different sects and doing so many different things with their, relationships. And it is a weird time.
Yeah, it's interesting how you describe it with like Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
Because it is a trifecta or even more. And there was, I don't know, you guys obviously know Ray Dalio, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the famous investor. Both Ray Dalio and Scott Galloway, the NYU professor, said that in their late 40s, early 50s, it's for men is one of the most challenging times because you kind of like firing on all cylinders in everywhere you're in life. So at home, you probably have kids, you have a wife, you have kids, so you have a lot of demands to be a father, to provide for them. At the same time, you're no longer like the bottom grunt at work. So you really like a manager, you have to really top perform. They want you when you get to work to really like push the company forward, So you have so much like workload. At the same time, that's when our parents are in their mid-70s, 80, and they start getting sick. So now, like, you only have, 24 hours a day, and everybody's making you feel guilty that you're not dedicating your best time and best energy to them. Your parents will be like, well, you didn't call today. You didn't help me. I had to go to the doctor. At the same time, you call off work to go help your parents. Work is like, well, we gave you a lot of responsibility. You got that bonus at the end of the year. You have to perform, At the same time at home, you're working more longer hours. Your wife is like, hey, you missed Timmy's baseball game today. It's the second time. I'm not happy anymore of this. This wasn't you when we first got married. And it's like...
Have you been looking through my phone?
No, but it's something that lately I saw like, these big wigs, this kind of like famous people talk more about it. And I never heard that before. People weren't talking about this 15 years ago.
And then forget about if you're pursuing your own endeavors. Forget about like the amount, and everyone in this room right now is I hate the word entrepreneur, but we're all kind of on pursuits of creating our own lives, right? Lives that we want to live. And then you add that into the mix and what that demands of you. And that's a whole nother level of commitment and energy and time, effort. It is another. You said this when you would go home at night, you'd say like your wife would say, "What did she call your show?" Like it was like your second life.
Yeah,
right. It is like and then forget you're a parent. Like you have all these hats and roles and responsibilities, and they just start to compile and pile and pile. Then you have to navigate in this new uncharted territory. And you could only pull from your experiences, which up until that point seems so limited. Like if you looked at 25, 30-year-old versions of each one of us, I would say for every one of us, we're radically different people.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, now I'm listening to this, not having experienced any of this. As 38 years old, I'm turning 39 in September. You want to know what me listening to this? Go to the scene in Gladiator with the guy pissing and crying.
Yeah.
Cue up the scene in Gladiator with the guy pissing.
I also like to apologize for the amount of coughing I've done.
Oh, it's okay. I was coughing for 5 weeks straight.
This allergy thing is brutal today.
My voice and my voice today keeps going higher. Sometimes,
No, you sound good.
yeah, but there are times today while I was talking, you get that phlegm build up and your voice goes higher and higher and higher, and you talk like this.
Where the hell's the pissing slave?
Well, it's right.
Yeah,
Great
right.
reference.
Right about when they enter the arena, right? It's his first.
Yeah.
He's never been to battle. Oh my
Gladiator
God.
first. It's the first one. The first battle. That's it. First battle.
Yeah, but let me see if it. Oh, here it is.
Me listening to this.
There's all the. There's Anthony.
Oh my God.
Damn, this movie is so awesome.
Isn't it? Wow.
I gotta watch it again from start to finish.
Lauren has not watched it. She told me the other day, I don't think I've ever seen this movie. I said, what? Okay.
All right.
We'll figure this out.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure this one out.
Well, one of the best scenes in cinema is when he reveals himself to be Maximus, and right afterwards the score comes in.
Yeah. And I shall have my revenge in this life or the next. Oh my God, man!
Yeah.
If you don't want to go to battle after listening to that speech,
It's the best, man. That was just incredible. And it's so sad because I saw the last year, I forgot what the hell it was. I saw that the second one was free on Amazon, and it was like at 12 midnight. It might have been a holiday eve or something. I was like, I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to watch something by myself, and it's going to be great. I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to try this out.
No.
It was awful.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
I've given up the idea of any of those movies being good. Like I've given up on that idea.
The Gladiator
I've
sequel
watched
is bad.
some of the clips on YouTube, and that was enough for me.
Yeah, I refuse to even I'll stick with like some of the Marvel stuff because it's just such a extensive catalog, and some of it's almost too much. Even Star Wars, you're like, I can't follow all this stuff, so I pick and choose at that point. But any of those seemingly sequels to things like Gladiator, I have zero desire. It just ruins it. It really just takes some of the air out of the first
I
one.
really don't know how you can go like the script was terrible. I don't know, how do you wait like almost 30 years to do a sequel, and then the script itself is boring.
No, it's stupid.
It's also the quality. The first one is so good. It's almost blasphemy to try to do something after that. It's so good. It's out of this world good, right? It's top level. So to be like, we're gonna make another. We're gonna try. You're just literally writing the coattails of the first one based on the name. That's it.
But then again, in Star Wars, the sequel is probably the best movie.
Which, speaking of,
yes, but
Speaking of.
very different things.
yes, agreed.
Very different things.
Agreed.
That was that was only a few years later or a couple of years. Like they
3 years.
they were following up.
Yeah,
and
3 years, right?
That was a rare case that the sequel was like.
It was also built
the
that way,
crown
kind
jewel,
of, right? It was kind of built to be, the saga, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I don't know what the intention was with the original Gladiator, but they hit the first one out of the park. So
Right.
Yes. Well,
30 years later.
We're on that note. I want to bring that. I want to go a little bit more on that in a second, and I also want to bring in some people from the chat room. I want to hear what they got to say about everything that we've been talking about. I've got super chats over here, but first, I'm going to really quickly. I want to plug our sponsor tonight, which is Pluck. Pluck Seasoning, organ meat seasoning, and to do that, I'm going to leave you in the loving hands of Jay Gulanello. We'll be back. Give me just 1 second. We'll be right back. And thank you so much, my friends. That's not it at all. Hold on a second, ladies and gentlemen. Where the hell did I put it? I put it right here. Did I? I didn't. How about here? No.
Be careful.
We'll just talk about Pluck.
Jeez Louise. Well, yeah.
Tell me more about it, Frank.
Pluck was a sponsor of ours in September. These shakers of incredible seasoning that is jam-packed of, liver and brain and all this other stuff that it's really off. People don't like handling this stuff. They don't like cutting it up. They don't like the smell of it. They don't like the coppery taste, but it is some of the greatest things that you can do for your body health-wise.
Fantastic.
Across the board.
Yes.
And what they did was they turned it into these monstrously seasoned, incredibly tasty powders that you can put in rubs. I used it as our turkey rub for Thanksgiving last year.
So like a steak seasoning, steak or whatever you're using.
Exactly,
Chicken,
Vin.
Steak.
Exactly,
Burger.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
I love this idea because I am familiar with
Brain rub.
I am familiar with liver. I've done the liver thing before. They're just chunks of liver.
I need to try them too now.
Okay. I've done the capsule thing, but I think this is a unique spin.
Well, the whole thing here is that they're also giving away samples. Well, I just sent out a whole bunch of them to people.
Send one this way.
I'm going to. Email me, frank@quitefrankly.tv, if you want a sample of.
Do I have to do that as well?
You could. Well, no. You just let me know, and I'll send your address over there.
So you're doing this the old-fashioned way.
I love this.
No, the old-fashioned way. This is that's the original seasoning.
This
but
week's
the one
episode
I
of
love.
the podcast is brought to you by Pluck.
It is. It's brought to you by Pluck.
I love this.
Fantastic. You could get I think it's 15% off. You use the link that I put in the description. Eatpluck.com.
What are the different flavors?
I'm going to get that up right now because I'll tell you the ones that I love the most.
You like that layup right there, right, Frank?
There's the organic. I know. What kind of flavors are there?
What are there?
There's the original. Okay. That's the zesty garlic is the one that I love the most because we're Italian.
Are you putting this on like chicken wings?
Garlic. You can put on chicken wings, steak, eggs. Put it in. Like I said, I rubbed down an entire bird with it, and everybody was like, "Oh!" And all my family, who they don't have their health figured out, they don't give a shit about any of that stuff. They don't know that they got all their organ meats in.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How much per seasoning? And like, what's the nutritional return per seasoning? Like, how much you putting on a steak and how much liver am I getting? Do we have an idea of that?
As far as that goes, I don't know.
Right? Because it's like you're supposed to have like a cube of liver or something like that. Like that's
Enough. You're getting enough.
You're getting enough. But as far as like a shake, as far as like how much you're getting on with a half a teaspoon, I don't know. But I
Does
will
it fit into my macro count, Frank?
On Sunday though, I will tell you guys. On Sunday, we're going to be live from my kitchen.
I love that.
Maybe around 2 p.m. It's going to be me, Lauren, Jay Gulanello, and we're actually going to be making cinnamon buns, sourdough cinnamon buns.
Oh, I love this.
But we're working in the new flavor from Pluck. It's cinnamon brain. Cinnamon and brain. So I mean, it smells and tastes like cinnamon, but it's got fucking brains in it. Sucked its brains out.
Bro, I put
Hey, did
cinnamon
you
on my
hear?
kid's French toast this morning. That we're in the French toast, obviously. Now imagine I'm doing it. It's disguised as cinnamon, and now they're getting all the nutrients from organ meat, but in cinnamon form.
Vin, you should co-host with me more often.
Anytime you want.
This
you
is-
know that.
This is
and
the smoothest
the
it's
perfect
gone.
shout
perfect
out to
ad.
Pluck.
By the way, you made not to change the subject, but you did say sucked his brains out, and I don't know. Did you hear
What?
the actor from Starship Troopers passed away?
He died?
No, the guy, the pretty boy guy,
Rico?
not Rico, the other guy, his like arch nemesis. He just died at 50-something years old.
Just the other day.
Oh,
Just the other day. What's his name?
I can't think of it.
the one who falls in love with Carmen?
Played by Denise Richards.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
she actually made a statement about
Did
it.
she?
Yeah.
I
Was
think
it
that's-
Casper Van Dien, that guy? Is
Hold
that
on.
him? No, he's still alive. 57?
No, he was in something else very prominent fairly recently. I can't think of what it was. That I was like, oh, that guy died. That sucks.
Hold on a second. Let me see here.
Oh, yeah.
News.
Patrick Muldoon.
Patrick Muldoon.
Yes,
Muldoon.
yes, yes,
That's
yes,
it.
yes,
Oh.
yes. What else was he in?
57 years old. What now,
Go up.
man?
What else was he in, Frank? We have.
Hold on.
I don't know
Yeah,
what it
let's see it.
was.
Days of Our Lives, Melrose Place, Starship Troopers.
None of that.
Saved by the Bell, it says.
What the
Yes,
hell?
Saved by the Bell. Yes, it was Saved by the Bell. He played the guy who ran the Max and fell in love with Kelly Kapowski.
You're right. He ran the Max.
He was the guy that fell in love with. He took Zach away from Kelly.
Too bad.
What the hell did he do? What happened though? Damn it! Is it?
He was
more?
very charismatic.
I hate news like this. It's like I wanted to be alive during the time that our collective lifespan like started stretching into the 110s.
57.
It's happened. Well, listen.
It says was
we-
a heart
we-
attack, the article said.
Heart attack, huh?
He's not taking his Pluck.
It will. We're going to talk about nattokinase at some point next. I think next week too. I think Molly from Keto Brains is coming on with Jay. I have so many health related things I want to bring up, including the nattokinase, which was just actually. I heard Joe Rogan was talking about this here too, because it is just this incredible thing. The first person who talked about it on this show was Dr. Peter McCullough, and it was part of his COVID protocols. I think it was like bromelain and nattokinase and all that stuff, and NAC, and it was all about stopping. It was all about directly mitigating spike proteins, but also naturally breaking up any kind of clotting. You know, it's like almost like an anti-stroke, anti-clot kind of a thing. And that's becoming a little bit more prevalent in the news right now, and I've been waiting to talk about it for a while. So I want to get that on there. And the other thing was, oh shit, what was the other thing? I don't know. There's just some really interesting. And then the psychedelics thing. What did you guys think about that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing. I'm a big believer in psychedelics. I think
But you saw the
yes,
from
yes,
the White
yes,
House.
Yes, I saw the press conference at the White House with Joe Rogan standing behind Trump, and it was interesting when he said that story that he basically just texted Trump one day and say you should look into this, and Trump got back to him within a day or two saying, okay, you want to FDA approved, let's do it. That goes to show also maybe of efficiency a little bit in this administration when it comes to these kind of things. But there's definitely benefits in psychedelics. Have you guys ever tried
I
psychedelics?
Oh,
I'd be way too scared to do that.
no.
It's not what it.
Fair share.
You want to hear a crazy story?
Sure.
No? Yes? Maybe?
Oh yeah, man.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you want to go into it, but I'm totally against drugs. I don't do drugs. I don't do anything. But, I'm into art and this kind of stuff. And I always heard, like we were mentioning, Santana and such, and how much like psychedelics had influenced this kind of artist and so on. So when I turned 40, I had a friend that dabbled in this kind of stuff, and I asked him, is it safe? He's like, yeah, if you want, I can get you LSD tabs or this kind of stuff. And I was like, yes, no. And then I was like, if you think it's safe, and let's try. So we went after my birthday. Went hiking up in the mountains here, up to a very like a top of the mountain lake, and I didn't know what to expect, But I tell you, like it was one of the most beautiful and mystical experiences in my life. I don't recommend it to everybody, and I have not done it since, although it was very strong. But in those few hours when you're there and you meditate, like you get this kind of like visions or what I call downloads. I think we're all born and we kind of feel lost, right? We don't really have a blueprint. Would you guys agree that you're born and, your parents might tell you, go to church, do this, but you never really feel what's your purpose in life. What's the purpose of life in general? And sometimes this kind of like psychoactive compounds are very introspective, and they're almost kind of like a guide.
Maybe they're a doorway to the guide.
Maybe.
Well, they also break you out of the reality that you're interfacing with, right? Like, so it snaps you out of like the 3D construct that you're in, and not even maybe just not physically, but just, sometimes visually, but other times just in this deeper intrinsic, reflective state. I'm a huge proponent of them. I think that I think in guided sessions with the right person facilitating, whether it be ayahuasca or ketamine or MDMA or psilocybin, these things are all, to your point, Anthony, I think they're all amazing vehicles or super highways that you can get on that will bring you to a destination of some form of realization within yourself that now gives you the tool to navigate the world with a new relationship.
Yeah. Well, when I considered how I have felt in the past and some of the greatest feelings of elation that you have in life, even it doesn't matter where the hell you are, you could be overlooking a beautiful mountain valley in Maine or Vermont or something like that, and you are just contemplating the endlessness of the sky and everything else and creation, and there's just something there that feels eternally comforting, and in that is purpose just through connection. That's what I feel there too. That I don't feel, I feel like I try to keep myself nice and grounded in something that's a little bit more bite-sized. If I can just make a little bit more sense out of the chaos and, kind of tend to my garden and leave things a little bit more organized than what I found it. And that would be nice, because what I really think about is, especially how they are presenting these substances over here as a way where with one dose, people who are really destroyed by depression, they almost have the depression's back broken to the point where at least it frees you up to and I know most people say, listen, you don't need any of that stuff, you just got to push through it. And so listen, I mean, I'm open to all things for people to be able to get themselves to a place where you could at least get yourself to the point where you can make that reconnection with that eternal comfort of creation again, which of course is a pathway to connecting with God, and that's how I see that as a threshold for what I believe in and how I live my life. So, but the real question is, when all the stuff that we get bogged down with from day to day disconnects you from that, is there anything that can just break up the fucking adhesion and just let the energy flow again? Let the divine flow back in. Sometimes it feels like a physical barrier, and for people to be saying that they've not only broken depression through controlled single doses of some of these substances, but also to be able to break the grip of opiate addiction and stuff like that. I'm like, man, why the hell would that not be an option on the table for people? Especially if it's not talking about like another form of methadone where you're getting something every day and now you're on something new. Right. That's not what I'm reading with some of this. Maybe I just need some more information, but
no, I think you're right. It seems like that there's a start and there's an end to this therapy methods, and that people really have long-lasting improvements and benefits.
Well, I think so. Two things come up for me. One is that you could, see the mountains of Maine and think that, here I feel the presence of God, or you could recognize the presence of God in like every moment, like right now, right?
Yeah.
It's always there, but it's your lens and your perspective. It's like, where's Waldo? You have someone to kind of point out where Waldo is in this vast map of life. And then you bring into the idea of like psychedelics, and then you people who are dealing with PTSD or addiction. And I've spoken to a lot of guys who've been through the recovery system, both on the podcast and just in the men's groups. And that whole journey of AA and recovery is a soul's journey. It's not just about the alcohol. It's not just about the drugs. It's not just about that. It's about a rediscovery of something bigger than yourself. And if you're in a thought loop that you can't break outside, you're not even forget about the God that's present in this room or the magic within a child's eyes, not to make it grandiose, but as parents, you see that and you feel that. You can't even recognize the beauty of a mountain in Maine. You're so disoriented to the true reality that you're living in this prison of your own mind. You can't break out of that on your own. It's very hard. And it becomes like, to your point, now you get on this opioid, you get on that. Oh, well, take this to get off of this and take that to get off that. When does it end? So if you could kind of stop the buck right there and then, or at least mitigate it a little bit, why wouldn't you introduce these things in a measurable, tangible, overseen experience for someone?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great step forward, and I hope that this is one step of many. I think it's an experience that, in the right setting and with, it's safe, I think a lot of people could benefit from.
Absolutely.
Here's a little bit. I don't want to keep you.
I was going to say, remember the I put a video that I saved in the Playhouse folder, but it was the video that I saw on Reels of a cat, and it was like a cat purring, and it said that when you realize you didn't take a microdose, and it just turns into this thing. And look, I've never taken any kind of psychedelics, but I knew watching that video that it was accurate before I even went to the comments to see a bunch of people saying I've never seen such an accurate depiction of what taking psychedelics actually looks like. That is like, I saw this thing and I'm like, this is probably why I can't take psychedelics.
I'm going to look at it right now. Hold
because this is probably why I can't take psychedelics, because I would freak the fuck out.
But I think it's important, like to your point, Alberto, is taking it with the right. It's set and setting, right?
Well,
that's the old story behind it, right? Set and setting, being around the right people with the right energy, and doing it with this reverence and respect and realization that you're tapping into something that's uncharted territory. And it's no different than I've had a lot of psychedelic experiences in the float tank, and it's very similar to that, where you're going into these uncharted,
maybe I sent it to you, Frank,
charted territories of your own mind, and you have to develop a step-by-step process to navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's when you introduce psychedelics, you have to realize that you're overriding that system.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can have the same experiences without the psychedelics themselves. Like when Frank was mentioning, kind of like you're on the top of the mountain, you have this beautiful view. Maybe it's night, you look at the night sky, you see the Milky Way, and you have this sensation that you're connected. Because we live our lives and we feel like we live so much in our brain, in our heads, and we do not feel connected with the earth. Right? Mm-hmm. The earth, the animal kingdom, and so on. We're not part of it. We're something else, right? At least this is the way we feel. But then you get this great moments of peaceful reflection when you have this amazing view, when you're in nature, when you see the Milky Way, and all of a sudden you realize that you're not external from the earth that you live in. It's all like an organism, and you're part of it. Somehow we were born with amnesia. But we are part of this, and life doesn't start and does not end with us.
Mm-hmm.
We're like a link in a chain, and we'll pass. But we're all connected. We're all going somewhere. There's a direction that this is all going, and So I think in the right setting, right time, the psychedelics might enhance this, give you a little boost Well, like when you put nitro in the gas tank.
Well, then look here. Let's put a little nitro in the gas tank. This is what Anthony had sent me. He said, and the caption is that moment that you realize that it wasn't a micro dose. Take a look at this. And people in the comments are saying, "Wow, this visualization is
I'm excited
as close as it can get." Oh, fuck that shit. Damn, man.
It's funny because it's true.
Oh, there you are. Okay,
Oh,
so
that's wild.
That is one of the most relaxing sounds in existence.
Yeah, that's funny.
I mean, to watch a cat's face turn into a forest and then come back. I don't know, man. I don't know.
For me, it was a big leap of faith. I'm telling you, because I'm really against drugs.
Well, listen,
Now,
listen,
was
listen.
that anything? Just watching that, was there anything similar going on?
Yeah, but yeah, you have, again, I think you have the visuals, and the visuals are incredible. But I think the most lasting experience is the sensations that you feel. This connection with everything. You feel you're really connected.
As you're doing in nature also.
If you want to, I'll tell you one interesting thing about the visuals. So you kind of start seeing this kind of like electromagnetic patterns everywhere. It feels a little bit kind of like our brain. It feels like our brain is like an antenna, and we're tuned to a certain kind of like frequency. And when you take this kind of drugs, it kind of like the radio shifts to a different band, and you start receiving more of the frequencies that usually you don't notice. And you start seeing these patterns everywhere. And one thing that I remember that I did, you know, like all of a sudden, a lot of religious art start making sense. When you see Tibetan art or you see Mayan kind of art, because those are the patterns that you see. You see this like electromagnetic grids in like this mandala kind of patterns everywhere. And initially I was like, oh, this is in my eye. It's just my eyes, my brain creating it. So I'll see the rock, and the rock will have these beautiful patterns of like energy flowing, kind of like a matrix, similar to like a Tibetan religious pattern. But then as I move, the pattern doesn't follow me, stays on the rock. And I start realizing that insects and small animals, if they were climbing on the rock, will follow that pattern. So then again, I have no proof, except this is just anecdotal experience. But it felt really kind of like that, you know, your mind switches and you start perceiving more of the frequencies that are usually shut down. And there's this electromagnetic grid everywhere. And we don't see it, but insects and other animals see it and follow it.
Well, you said you said we're born with amnesia, or, you know, we forget. And I think that, you know, having small children, they offer this amazing window into remembering. And I don't know where we forget that we live in this, you know, in that world, but we do. I don't think we're born. I think we're born into knowing that and feeling that and having this, you know, because we're not polluted by the world, right? We're just like these pure beings of receiving and giving, and there is this energetic frequency. And then over time, like, you know, my daughter's 11, you know, she drew a picture the other day, it's on the fridge, and it's like it's a perspective picture, and it's a road, and on this side of the perspective, it's all like crazy wild stuff. It's like unicorns and colors and rainbows. And then as it goes like this tunnel, and on like at the other end of the perspective of the road, as it comes to a point, it's just like the regular looking world. I'm like, oh, what is that? She goes, oh, it's leaving childhood.
Oh, stop this.
Wow.
And I'm
How
like,
dare you be so introspective?
And I actually brought this up in one of the men's groups. I do wonder sometimes, like, and having a 6-year-old son, he'll like, you know, have a stick. He's like, oh, it's a sword or whatever we all
Right,
did as
right.
kids.
Yes.
I do wonder, does he actually see us like a sword? And we just forget that we once held a stick. Like he knows it's a stick, right? He knows it's a stick. But is there a part of him that actually sees a sword and feels a sword?
He does, yeah.
And we forget that we have this ability to hold something and make it be anything.
It is. I mean,
Like-
there's
like,
also
like the Polar Express.
Well, just look at Hook, the scene in Hook.
right.
Yes,
The
exactly.
the food fight. Is
there you are, Peter. Right?
Listen. There you are, Peter. When he saw him smile, I don't understand why Hook gets panned so much by people.
It's a great movie.
It's an incredible movie.
Great movie.
And,
Does
and,
it?
And it gets panned. And I
does.
sit there and I watch it with Aurora.
Fucking great movie.
And I sit Aurora down, and even she was, I told her, whenever the food fight scene comes up, I said, no, you gotta pay attention
This
here.
is the scene.
This is the scene that unlocks everything. She goes, so
I gotta watch
other,
the movie, my
so the
kids.
other boys aren't eating anything though. I said, no, they are eating. The thing is that in Neverland, you need your imagination to have the food show up, and Peter has lost his ability to play. And that's the whole point here. He has to find a way to use his imagination again. And the fact that he got to that point by getting into the insult battle with Rufio.
Sure. Yeah.
And
yeah,
then finally he wants to fling the pudding in his face with a little, and he just pretends to fling pudding with an empty spoon, and boom, a bounty shows up. That little fucking she started getting that. She started understanding that too. It's such an important scene. And that movie gets more important as you grow up. It really does.
But what do you guys think? I mean, is the world just like this materialistic construct, atoms that just move along and hit each other? Or do you guys think that...
It's organized. Everything's organized.
Or you guys think that maybe our mind and our intention kind of creates the world around us?
No, I think creation has a creator. And I think that we are definitely... we're experiencing. I mean, we have to process it to be in this world. This is our processing unit, and there's so much more. We're processing only.
Are we just a receiver, or can we project?
We could project too. I think.
We can use what we have to like we can change the direction of our life to a certain point,
Right.
But we didn't think ourselves up. We didn't. Like, we weren't in some menu screen in a video game and say, create your fucking player. Like,
Well,
we were, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Some
but you
people think
remember,
so.
you remember Neo in
What's
the
up?
Matrix?
Some people would say like I'm not with that. I just can't. I'm not.
It's
I've
hard,
never.
right? Yeah.
I've never been down with that whole. Oh well, we pick our parents before we. Like no, don't please.
No,
don't.
but
well, I can't even answer that because we don't know. Like, these are all things like, I guess it's just like, oh, that's an idea. But like, how do you know?
I'm more saying it kind of like in the moment. There's some, like old religions that kind of believe that reality is somewhat like a Maya, like an illusion, and our brains is what creates the world. So it's all our brains interconnected, like a neural network that kind of creates this virtual reality of the world. And there's some fringe science and scientists that say that might be true. Yeah. It's beyond our knowledge, right?
Well, listen,
it's above our pay grade. But
I'll say this, Alberto. The reason why psychological operations are so important, especially on a mass media level, is because we do have powers of manifestation. But we're largely, as a species, uninitiated into how important and how viable those powers are. And when we are kept in the dark, we, living in the land of the dead, are kept in the dark. It allows us to be shepherded by black magicians who know how to get us what to concentrate on and what to make.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no doubt about it that we are extremely powerful. We were made that way gloriously, and we don't know where to really put that attention and how to apply it. And it goes into a lot into how to enhance prayer as well.
Right,
so
prayer comes into play a lot, right? So even if one has a Christian background, you believe in prayer, right? You pray, and the intention of praying is sometimes what makes things happen.
I was just thinking about this the other day, and I'll say this before I go. I think that there's a connection. I've always known this, but I happened to see a video when I was doom scrolling
Slipping into it.
Yeah, I happened to see a
See the
video
benefits of it, though.
about DMT and you know something I've already knew about. I already knew that like we have the pineal gland which dumps every last bit of DMT when we die.
Right.
You know, but like it was one of those moments where I was like, you know, I've known that for years, but then it really just I thought about it. I'm like, that's fucking crazy how we're just designed that way. Like we've got this DMT in our brain. Like we're talking about
birth and death, right? Is it at the 2 points of?
So we're talking about psychedelics right here, and we literally have psychedelics ready to go for us to transition into another realm.
The most powerful
isn't
psychedelic.
Isn't that enough to just like duh?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know, that's not something that was planted in us when we were born. Like the doctor came and says, "Oh, here's your for later." You know,
we don't know that yet.
Right.
Not that we know of.
Well,
No, I get it's
Not
true.
insane.
It's true. Stuff like that is just insane. It's there's a lot there. There's a lot there. You know, I had these videos from the White House about the psychedelics, but we don't really need it at this point, and we only have 25 minutes left. By the way, let me read your super chats. We have the olive oil over here from Greece. We've got 5 silver quarters. We've got the Cultivate Elevate Reishi turkey tail capsules and lion's mane capsules. Tomorrow I'm going to be taking I'll be taking Polaroids and throwing Polaroids in there as well. All you got to do is send a super chat over and you'll be in the running for tomorrow's drawing. I should probably do nightly Polaroid drawings just to have something nightly going on. That would be fun. But let me see here. Now, let's go to the super chats real quick. And then I want to tell you the Star Wars story.
I'm so excited for
I
that.
think you're going to really love this. I know Anthony's got to go, but I'm sure he'll hear it at some point. Real quick. Tefro says, I love this. Shotzi says, sending a little midweek support. Love you, Aaron. Thank you. Jay Britt says, what a sausage fest of panel tonight. Council of Dudes.
That's it.
Stowe Stoob says, loving the quite frankly. Great listen tonight, as it is usually. Thank you, Frank and guests. Witchy Poo says, I've been missing everyone. Witchy Poo, I saw you pop up somewhere. I said, where the hell has she been? It's so good to see you. Jeff Lamb says, let's see here. Love lighting, Govey lighting, and jellyfish lighting are 2 types of permanent outdoor Christmas lights. No more having to put them up and take them down each year. What?
I don't know what that means.
Well, I love you, Jeff. Thank you so much. ST says, feels like home with Anthony, Vinny, Alberto, and Frank. Salute, gentlemen. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Star Karma says, Frank, it's my birthday, 44 years on Earth. Much love from Alberta, Canada. Love you, Star. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Over on Rumble, we're almost through. Let's see here. We got Esther gave away 2 subscriptions over there. Thank you, Esther. Jashin says, I like your time change. And see your brother there also. What do you mean? The time change there's no time that has changed. Jay Semo says, great show, guests and friends. Thank you and for the discussion. Thank you all. But the time has not changed. Mm-hmm. And then we'll get to Pilled in just a little. Oh, hold on. Let me see here. Oh, wait. We have something here. Amethyst Cat says, hello, fellas. Pluck zesty garlic, a half a teaspoon is 10 calories, 45 milligrams of sodium, vitamin A, 60 micrograms, vitamin B, 12 is 0.01 micrograms, beef organ blend, 0.38 grams, freeze-dried powdered live spleen, kidney, heart, pancreas. That is the back of the container says. And let me tell you, it is a full panel of incredible stuff there, and it just tastes like Lowry's. You know, it's just so good.
I did the liver thing because I would go to the farmer's market and get the liver. I tried cooking it. I wasn't a big fan of it. I'd pop it down raw, like the raw liver. It was fine. I just swallow it. And then I did the capsule thing for a little while. And there is, again, maybe this whole experience of life is a placebo effect, but there was a difference in how I felt when I was consuming organ meat versus when I wasn't. So,
Star Wars.
Listen
to this.
Love it.
So I got Aurora through A New Hope and then on to Empire Strikes Back. I said, okay, we're just going for it.
Buckle up.
buckle up. 5.5 years old. Let's see. Maybe we have to watch it again in a couple of years. We'll be watching this for a while, but still. We get to the point where Luke goes to Dagobah, and she already knows about Yoda and all that stuff. She's loving this stuff. She's suspicious. She goes, I think that he loves her. Talking about Han and Leia. She's picking up on everybody, having crushes on everybody. But then, and then it gets to the training in Dagobah, and Luke goes into the cave. This very important scene where he goes into the cave. What's in there? Only what you take with you, says Yoda. And he's in the cave, and
I just got chills. What a scene that was! My goodness,
incredible.
what a line!
Out comes Vader, and Aurora looks up at me. She goes, because at first she goes, did he find Dagobah? And so they take out their lightsabers, and boom, a quick parry and flashing of lightsabers, and here's this arcing blow from Luke, takes off Vader's head clean. And at that point, Aurora must have felt like there's no way that he could have just easily killed Vader like this. So the head rolls on the ground, and all of a sudden the face mask blows off, and the smoke clears, and there's Luke's face behind the face mask. And I looked down at Aurora. She looked up at me, and she was kind of like, her brow was furrowed a little bit. And I said, Luke's face? What do you think that means? And she said, they must be connected somehow. Are they brothers? I said, in my head, I said, you son of a bitch. I said, well, what the fuck? I said, now listen, I'm sure everybody at home with your children, your nephews, your nieces, whoever that you have raised, helped raise, whatever, I know that you have tons of stories like this where you were just left kind of like, wow, are you serious? I don't know, but I said that's interesting. I don't know. Let's see. So, of course,
I don't know. Let's see.
Let's see what happens.
Coming down
Doesn't want to spoil it.
So they go
Love
to
that answer.
Cloud City. Cloud City. Everything's going, and then there's the big duel between Luke and Vader. Who, of course, Vader's just screwing with him because he wants to own Luke. He's not trying to destroy him. It'd be too easy. But then it comes up. I said, we're sitting there. They're on the catwalk. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. He told me enough. He told me you killed him. No, I am your father. And she looked up and she went, I knew they were connected. I knew they were, and she goes, she was totally blown away. I knew they were connected. But Vin and Alberto and Anthony, the thing that happened next, and I just can't wait to just talk about this, just about, about as far as how instincts goes. I said, well, what would you do? Because, there's Vader saying, join me and we'll rule the galaxy as father and son. We can overthrow the Emperor together. Join me. And Aurora, I said, what would you do, Aurora? And she said, I would join him, but I would give him love. And she said something about like wanting to give him a hug or something like that. And she explained that he has to still be good, and I would give him love to make him good again. I said, you just fucking figured out Return of the Jedi?
Well, that's why. But that's why it's one of the greatest movies, because it speaks to something on such a simple level that even a kid can, figure it out.
It's just it was incredible. So I didn't say.
No. Actually, better yet, it's something that kids
can relate.
I think relate. They see it more clearly at than adults.
Yeah, it's just something that's intrinsically
like
built
innocent,
into us, right?
Yeah,
It's built
archetypes.
into us, right? Exactly, like the
Archetypes.
kindness of who we are by nature, right? Someone once asked me, like, "Oh, well, born in the image and likeness of God, but people are bad." And I said, to me, I took a highlighter and I drew a circle, dense circle in the highlighter. I said, that's how we're born, all light. And then you have input. And that input could be from birth, but we're born good, right? And that's exactly what she tapped into. That's exactly what she was able to take out of the movie, which, again, you figured out Jedi, right? There is good in him. There's good in everybody, right? But it's just so calcified and layered that it's hard to get through it. And that's why you got to take psychedelics.
See, and I said, when she said that, I said, all right. I said, wow. I said, well, let's see. Let's watch the next movie. And then of course we got to the Emperor's throne room, man. At the end, and Luke he just refuses to give in, and would rather just get. I said, okay, fine. If I'm not going to be able to take my father away through the fighting, if he's not going to get, then I'm literally going to allow the Emperor to fry me to death. To say, our father, are you not going to come for me yet? You know, and it's just all about allowing him. It's when Aurora said, What's Vader going to do? That's his son. And he starts looking back and forth, and he threw him over, and she was elated. And that was the whole thing. I said, Aurora, that's the whole point here. When Yoda told Luke Skywalker, when gone am I, the last of the Jedi will you be. That wasn't, he wasn't the Jedi that had returned. It was Anakin, and that's just fucking, so I couldn't believe, I was just so happy that 5.5 wasn't too early.
I'm so glad you had that experience.
Well, I just felt like
I knew that was a thing for you.
I got to rewatch it.
Oh, you have to.
I knew that was a thing for you. And I know the importance of, from a cultural standpoint, like my kids are immersed in Star Wars, right? And they know all the stuff that happens and who's who. But I know that moment, and I know the importance of Star Wars in your life, right? And then from a cultural level, to have that with your child, I know the importance of that. It was like when I have all the old action figures, and it's the background of my phone, and I'll pull it. It's literally my daughter finding my old Luke and Leia, and I was like, I will never change that background. I was like, that will be my background forever.
That's awesome.
Because it was like this discovery moment. So I'm happy you had that.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to report back because we were talking about that maybe like 2 or 3 times. I don't know, 2 or 3 meetings ago.
Yes.
It had brought up.
That Obi-Wan Vader scene that we were talking about.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing there too.
Remastered one.
The way that I heard, like even, so today we finished episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Before we left, we were having a little bit of dinner, and I had about 30 minutes before I had to leave the house. Let's finish episode 1. Perfect. So she got to see the whole Duel of Fates and everything. Yeah, but have you ever heard like Dave Filoni or anybody like that talk about why Duel of Fates was so important and what the actual Duel of Fates was?
Elaborate.
Well, that you have Qui-Gon Jinn and you have Obi-Wan Kenobi who are fighting Darth Maul, and hanging in the balance is actually Anakin's life,
right? Because
Qui-Gon was the master that Anakin needed,
right,
to actually probably fulfill something that's more of a representative life and get himself under control. Obi-Wan was the one that he got, for better or for worse, and he didn't want to do it, but he just was fulfilling an oath that he took to his dying master.
He wasn't as under control as Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah.
He was too emotional.
I know, and that, so that when you think about that, like what's the Duel of Fates? Well, what's the fate? Well, it was Anakin's fate, and it all leads to Return of the Jedi.
Wow, like what would happen? What would happen if Qui-Gon actually lived and he trained Anakin? Would he have not brought balance to the Force? You know what I mean? Like
it would have been.
I love when they have those alternate pictures, like they'll have like an AI mock-up. It's like if Leia or like whatever, like Anakin becomes a Jedi or Leia becomes a Sith or something like that, and there's just like these alternate reality pieces to it, almost like the Marvel what ifs, where like this alternate reality, and some of them are just, there's mainly photos I've seen. They're just so compelling. It's like the thought behind that is like, what if this happens versus this, and what kind of trajectories are going?
There's a ton of AI Star Wars stuff. Some of it is, a lot of it's shit. There's a lot of like poorly done stuff, but some of it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think we did. I think when we spoke, there's when we had, was it 2 ago that we spoke about? But there's that one page on Instagram it's phenomenal. Like the quality to it is unbelievable, and they take some really cool liberties and arcs and pathways with it.
Anyway, I'm just happy we got to talk about it, just because that's another one of those life moments, and I had a life moment that was one of them. I said, wow, I'm really impressed. I said, okay, we can watch the rest of them. I think you're ready then, if you had that kind of insight. But
and then you show the new trilogy.
No. Maybe we'll watch Clone Wars together.
It's so sad to me that something that was that just had such a legacy is kind of like it's so unfocused now. Like there's so much other crap that's considered canon that's just like,
Yeah,
but it doesn't live up. You know,
it goes back to the Gladiator thing. Like,
Right.
you know, now imagine they make a Gladiator series and a Gladiator this, and you have to kind of pick and choose. Like Rebels, which is an amazing watch, the animated series, Star Wars Rebels. It's an amazing watch. Like, it is phenomenal. I watched it with my daughter, my son and I, and my daughter, like, we have to rewatch this, and it's such a good rewatch worthy show. But you have to like pick and choose now, which is kind of the unfortunate part because there's just so much out there. Even like the Daredevil stuff, when we spoke about that, like the Marvel stuff, there's so much out there that you have to like pick and choose. Most of it's somewhat disappointing. The other little bits of it are really, really, really good. And the stories and the depth of it are so deep in the history of it. Like they just came out with that new Maul series on Disney Plus, which I'm like, I gotta watch that. It's like 5 episodes in.
Is it any good?
I haven't watched it yet, but it's an animated series about like Darth Maul and his coming up into the Star Wars universe.
Really, all you need is the Clone Wars for Darth Maul.
Yeah,
You get
but, like,
everything you need there.
Yeah, but do you?
Yeah.
Maybe there's an amazing further backstory. Like, you know what I mean? So
Maul as a 2-year-old.
how they do it, I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. It got some good reviews, but it's animated. So then there's like the animated component stuff that ties into the actual movie stuff, which is kind of cool, but you know.
they should
That's-
make a whole series based on the guy in the cantina that says, "I don't like you."
Oh, he
doesn't like you either.
He has there is a
You don't
he
be
has-
dead.
Series?
He has a cameo. No, not a series, but he definitely has a cameo in either Rogue One or
Oh,
the
it's
other
Rogue
one.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rogue One.
Hey, hold on, but real quick, I got that clip from Yellowstone. It's a minute and a half. It's about appliances and convenience. I think this is a really good one, and independence through responsibility. Listen.
What is that?
That's a washing machine.
What does it wash?
Clothes.
Can you imagine?
An electric motor spins the cylinder as water is pumped through the machine. Soap is added here, and the agitation removes any soiling.
What does that wash?
That's a refrigerator. The top compartment keeps food frozen. And the bottom compartment maintains a temperature of 38 degrees.
And you sell these?
We rent them.
So you sell electricity, and then you rent all the things that need electricity?
More or less.
We don't need any of these things.
Well, the conveniences. Their use gives you time to do other things.
What other things?
Well, like other chores.
So you invent machines to do those, then what do we do?
Go on a picnic. Go for a swim. Go to the cinema. You can enjoy a more leisurely life.
It ain't more leisurely, because we gotta work more to pay for all this stuff. He's got you there.
This is the future. Every home in New York City has electricity. They have refrigerators. And some even have electric stoves.
Now here's the thing. We buy all this stuff, we're not working for ourselves anymore, we're working for you.
Boom. We buy all this stuff. We ain't working for ourselves anymore. We're working for you.
Fight Club.
Amazing.
Yeah,
How good is the music behind that? Just
it's a good one.
supporting that scene.
Hey, Ann, thanks for staying, man. Yeah, of course. The whole fucking show.
Good seeing you, buddy.
That was great.
Real quick, I do want to mention. Good seeing you, bud. Alberto and I we did a podcast. He came on the Council of Dudes 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago,
2 weeks.
and we had a wonderful conversation. And then we went and trained over at Igor Gracie's, and his level of jiu-jitsu is absolutely absurd.
Really.
It's like I train with a lot of people.
Kind. Good for
I'm
you.
I'm being very serious. And black belts are. I dare to ask you the number that you were dialed in on your scale of 1 to 10 of jiu-jitsu, 10 being like all the way gas pedal. I imagine he was probably at a 3. I think he was operating at a 3, and he literally. I know your audience loves when I say mounted me. He mounted me. And
I've been dreaming about it ever since.
It was horrifying. And I'm not saying this to you here. It was his jiu-jitsu is unbelievable.
And the last time you guys were in, you're talking about the difference between the level of what you guys are doing, and then when a champion comes into your school, and how much crazier it even gets. I mean, that's
his jiu-jitsu IQ, and I'm not like I'm around Igor Gracie, who's like unbelievable. Joie, who unbelievable. And these are they're all black belts are all unbelievable in their own right. Right? Is that a fair? Like everyone has their like skill set and lane, and so like, and everyone's like they truly are such an amazing individuals. And I never trained with you before, so I have no context to how your training is. It is so good. It is ridiculously good. So I just wanted to recognize that and just be like, my goodness, it was such a pleasure and a privilege to learn from you and train with you. So
what a high honor.
It was.
Pleasure and privilege was all mine.
Seriously.
Well, I must say, since we were talking about Star Wars, Jiu-Jitsu is the closest thing to becoming a real-life Jedi.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah, you said that. And that's why you have to get into it, Frank, because you'll absolutely love it. And we said that, we're like, we got to get Frank in here.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get mounted by a couple dudes.
It's Friday night. Need to get mounted.
That's it.
You feel nobody can touch you.
It's unbelievable.
Just...
It was cool.
Two kind of people. The people that know jiu-jitsu and people that don't know jiu-jitsu.
It was very, very cool. It was very cool.
I enjoyed the training too. I learned a lot.
Well, I love listening to you guys talk about it. That's for one. And that's all. So you only worked out once. Obviously, that's not going to be the last time.
No, definitely not. It's just scheduled.
I have invited him to come train with us in Rockland, and I would love for Frank to join us too for that class.
I will get there. It's just these schedule things.
I'll get there too. Yeah, I have to go to this Friday night. I'm going to a 50th anniversary celebration for a priest friend of mine. 50 years of being a priest.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna be going to New Jersey in suit and tie to have dinner with a bunch of priests and nuns. I guess it'll be something I've never done in my life. So, yay for firsts.
Yay for firsts.
Hope all of the wine is blessed.
Sure. I'm sure they'll be amazing people.
It'll be great.
Good conversation.
Hey, we've got 5 minutes left, and I just want to ask you, what do you guys think? Have you, now you hear that the White House and NASA, there's all types of orders that have been given to investigate these dead or missing scientists. A lot of them have either, connections to nuclear programs or space programs themselves, and it's all happening around the same time that we're getting bigger and bigger imminent previews of imminent disclosure. That's coming from, like, for example, here is the president from not too long ago saying this.
As you remember, I recently directed the Secretary of War. How good is Pete Hegseth doing, by the way? To begin releasing government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena. And I figured this was a good crowd because I know you people, you're really into that. I don't know if I am, but so I'm pleased to report today, I thought I'd save it for this crowd because you're a little bit out there, a little bit, that this process is well underway, and we found many very interesting documents, I must say. And the first releases will begin very, very soon. So you can go out and see if that phenomena is correct. You'll figure it out. Let me know.
So that's going to happen soon. We don't have that much time. We can actually bring this into the extended time on the flip side in about 3 minutes from now. But I don't know, roundabout thoughts. Go ahead, fellas.
I don't have a lot of hope for this. I think it's going to be just like a JFK files and so on. There's going to be a lot of old documents photocopied from old CIA documents of reports, and they never release analysis. If you CIA, the way they work, they have reports and they have analysis. Reports, anybody can call in, say, I saw this, I saw that. But then where are the documents, the analysis, where people do a proper investigation and assign sort of like a score? Yeah, this is credible. This we investigated. They never show the analysis. They always just show you these old photocopies, and you never know where to put them, if they're true or not, if they've been discredited.
I think we've come to a point culturally where we are so desensitized to anything and everything. And whatever government released information, whether it be aliens or UFOs or assassinations or whatever it is, we are become so desensitized as a culture, and we slip into the bed of social media in our phones so often that it doesn't matter what comes out anymore. It's just going to be background noise. It's background noise.
Yeah, I had somebody. Speaking of, I had to go on to TikTok because somebody said, Frank, I guess it's on Anthony's Instagram too, but I guess I couldn't find it in time. What the hell I have over here? Hold on, where the hell is it? Somebody on Pilled said, Frank, can you play? Where is it? Come on. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's on Rumble. It was Smalls45 says, Frank, I loved Anthony's Doomscroll song. And I remember that, this came out. This is his upload. Oh, wait a second. This was uploaded 8 hours ago? It says so. It said 8 hours ago on TikTok. I just found it randomly. Here we go. I want to hear this. Tell me to put my phone down and stop doomscrolling, one of his commenters
Tell
had
me
said.
to put my phone down and stop doomscrolling. You're doomscrolling right now, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And what were you supposed to be doing anyway? Let me guess. Something productive. And you were going to do it. Get right to it. But instead you said, just let me look on my phone at 1 minute, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, turn to 40 minutes, turn to 60 minutes, turn to stop doomscrolling! Put down your phone now! You're feeling burnt out, you just wanna chill, so you overstimulate our memes and reels. But you can't relax when you're trying to escape. It's a vicious cycle that you gotta find a way to break. With every swipe you lose a little more life. Losing your focus, your time, your drive. Don't you work? Don't you have to study? Don't you have to go to sleep? Oh, something, stop scrolling! Put down your phone now!
By the way,
why did he shamelessly plug that while he was in here?
He doesn't plug and stuff like that. But I'll tell you one thing.
He's so talented.
It's hilarious. This is another reason why I tell people get the VIP tickets for the June Spring Fling, because you just get to see all the places that these productions take. When I can't tell you how many times I'm in here in the 6 o'clock hour getting ready for the 7 o'clock show, and I hear these things being screamed from the other room. And I'm just sitting here saying, oh, something new coming out soon. I guess, it's just one. By the way, are you guys going to be coming to the Spring Fling?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'll make it happen.
You guys got to meet, you're going to meet Alberto. You got to meet Vinny. Anthony will be there. Petey Face will be there. He's got a budding group of fans now out of all the, especially he has fans in Italy now.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Guinea Slappers.
Guinea Slappers.
Whatever the hell that means. I don't know. Mike put out an Italian album.
Yes, I heard.
It's a wild album.
It's all very wild.
It's fun.
Hey, Matt said he's going to be there. He better. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on. That's going to be great to have you guys around for that. All right, let me see.
What date is that?
That's on June 5th is the VIP night here, and June 6th is the main day. You can come either or, but you should come to both. You don't live that far away.
I don't.
I
come in my gi.
Yeah, and
let's roll.
And for the 6th, bring your kids for the 6th.
All right,
because it's in a beautiful setting outside. Oh, there's playgrounds they can hang out with.
Amazing.
Hang out with Aurora.
Talk about Star Wars.
Love
that.
Yeah. Okay, so real quick, let me just say thank you to everybody on Pilled, and then we're going to go over there for the flip side. Vesper, and I'll read this later on. Tommy Jekyll, Safety Net, Cat Squirrel, Truthful Mama, Silly Boar, Amethyst Cat, Sloan TV. I have microdose shrooms for 2+ years. Keeps PTSD in check. Never a bad experience.
Love to hear that.
Valhalla says, I would love to try that olive oil and love me some silver and samples. Well, hey, you still have one more day to put in for it. This stuff is good, man. And there's going to be a bottle of this at the Spring Fling. But I've got silver over here, and I've got the Cultivate Elevate. Tomorrow there will be Polaroids and other things I'm adding in there. Support the show and try to win some prizes. Tomcat, NJ, Mannyisms, Delona, and Trisha E. We're going to be jumping over there right now, friends. Oh, Haywood says anyone who's never done psychedelics needs to. If not, they should be sent to Antarctica in their underwear. That's just trying to get a point across, I guess. Jane Rudell says, love you. Jane Rudell says, love you, Frank and friends. And Steve Ellis says, go Penny. Oh, I hope Penny wins. Let's get.
That's very funny.
Revolution says, felt like Cur Day Saturday show. Felt like a Cur Day Saturday show on a Wednesday. You're right. This felt like a weekend tonight with you guys in here. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for being here. And both of your Instagram tags are in the description of this episode.
Perfect.
I hope that people go and find you on Instagram. That's where both of you are most active. I see.
Yeah.
But also, if there's any other places that you want them to go and anything you want them to hang out with you on, go ahead. Please.
Black Bolt goes first.
No, I have a special actually event coming up. I want everybody to come unless they have a conflicting schedule. It's on May 16th. I have Sumo, my brand, Luigi and I's brand, are collaborating with the New York Sumo Club. And we have organized, and on May 16th, there's going to be the second Empire Sumo Cup at Japan Village in Brooklyn. It's a full day of amateur sumo fights, bouts, and it's going to be amazing. Last year, we had about 10,000 people show up.
Whoa.
Spectators and throughout the day. And you saw people from all over the U.S. come compete sumo. And if you've never been at Japan Village in Brooklyn, it's fun. They have these outdoor courts. They're going to be fully decorated. In the buildings, you can find like a lot of like food stations. You can find sushi,
Is there any-
ramen, and so on.
Oh my God.
Is there
There's no cover.
What
No
about
cover.
an event page or a URL people can?
Yeah, if you Google New York Sumo Club, and you'll find the information there. Or if you go to halfsumo.com, there's going to be some information there too. And if you've never seen sumo live, come check it out because it's wild. And it's open class. There's no weight limits.
Oh, there it
so
is.
You'll find You'll find
that's so cool.
Yeah, you'll find like a 150-pound guy ultimately fighting like a 300-pound guy, and you don't know who's gonna win. The throws are amazing, and then they have this elevated platform. If they fall over. It's so funny.
I went to a sumo event in the city quite a few years ago. It was like a traveling sumo thing, and it is such a cool event to go to. It's like one of those. It's like a culture. Like it's such an experience. Right? Like it's so cool I'm going to be there.
Look,
I'm making all the events.
I'll just be brief. But last year we didn't know how it was going to go. And people were just walking by and you see like the husband is like, hey, honey, just wait a second. And then, that will be like 1 p.m. At 7 p.m. they were still there glued to see who will win the final bout. It was amazing. I'm
going to try and make it. Frank, let's go.
What about you?
Let's go. Oh, what do we have going on? First and foremost, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's such a breath of fresh air every time I'm here. So thank you. And I love coming in with you. So this is always fun. My main thing right now is Aurora 2.0, the capital raise that we're doing, building a hub, one first of its kind men's social wellness club, all inclusive, everything a guy needs to compartmentalize his day. We're redefining, this is our new thing. We're redefining the day in the life of a man. We are changing what it means to be a man in compartmentalizing your day. We're raising capital for that to build our flagship location in Westchester. It's over at wefunder.com/Agora Social Club. Investments start at $100 and you're actually buying equity in the company. So it's not like you're just crowdfunding us and helping us build this. You're actually investing equity in the company. So go check that out.
You've done very well so far.
Yeah,
we got to get to 1.2 million. So we've got some work to go. But that first 100,000 everyone's getting it, and we're cleared from the SEC. So our value, our future equity, and our pre-money valuation has been kind of scrutinized to that capacity. So right now we're offering the first 100,000 in investments are getting at $10.80 a share. And this is something that we're very passionate about. And it's become my purpose in life. This is my Noah's Ark. And any way you could support is greatly appreciated.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And listen, anybody who has a dream and is putting everything they got into making it. I mean, they know what kind of an undertaking this is, but it looks like you have a nice team, And
things have been great.
And you got passion, and that's it. And I wish you nothing but the best, and anything I can do along the way to help, I'm going to.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Alrighty. Well, listen, guys and gals, that's it. All the other information you need to know to find both of our guests, and of course, Anthony is always pretty easy to find, is in the description of the episode. For now, I invite you over to the flip side, and we're going to talk until the lights go out. That is going to be a link that I drop into the chat rooms right now. But if you're looking around, you're like, where did he put the link? Where did he put the link? Well, guess what? You can also just come to the flip side on quitefrankly.tv. That's another way you can go there. But you can go straight through Pilled, and I hope that you do. Come on over, quitefrankly.tv, or the Pilled link that I just provided you. Press play and be a part of it. That's it. Okay, Alberto, Vinny, thank you guys so much for everything.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, until next time, guys and gals, be well and come to the Spring Fling. Hit the events tab on quitefrankly.tv. Get yourself some tickets. It's going to be great. I promise you.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Frankly's Film Before a Live studio audience. Now our super chatters, starting with Jane Rudell, Steve Ellis, Revolution, Tefros, Shotzi, Jane Britz, Stostoom, and Witchy Poo, Jeff Lamb, ST, and Star Karma. Happy birthday, Star. Thank you to our wonderful Rumble Ranters. You guys are not going to be at all left out of my dreams tonight. Thank you, Haywood and Smalls and the J Semo, and to Jason H. It's great to have you on. And to our gold pillars, well, we're going to read a little bit more into you right now, but I love you all, and come on over to the flip side. Take care.
Everybody knows shit. Fuck. Everybody knows shit. Fuck. Everybody knows shit. Fuck. Everybody knows shit.